Welcome to the Unitarian Society of New Haven. I'm Rich Stockton, a member of the Worship Committee and your worship associate today. Happy last Sunday of Advent, and happy winter solstice tomorrow. If you're joining us for the first time, we're so glad you chose to spend this time with us. Our mission is to be a diverse, multi-generational faith community that inspires lives of compassion and generosity, nurtures spiritual growth, cultivates transformative connections, and creates a more just world. This is a congregation that believes Black lives matter, that every person has the right to affirm their own gender identity, and that all people are inherently worthy. Together, we affirm that this day and our being together can make each of us braver, more compassionate, and wiser than when we woke up this morning. We meet electronically for now, but we look forward to being together again in person. You can go to our website, usnh.org, and click on online services, and that will tell you how to join a Zoom meeting after the service to be part of a weekly Welcome Corner visitor chat. And you can always visit our website to find out more about us. Blessed be.
One year on winter solstice, we cried out, "Why can't today be longer? We miss the summer sun." The sun heard our cry. It stretched and bent itself, eager to comply, and our axis shifted. The day grew warm and night retreated. Snow melted, and trees surprised themselves with tiny buds. Bears and turtles woke up early and confused. Flowers cautiously unfurled, and bees sleepily buzzed by them. But it was too early. The world wasn't ready. Like an alarm clock accidentally blaring on a precious day off, the forest was a bleary-eyed mess. And everyone went back to bed hungry and grumpy. Mother Nature settled them back in with a lullaby, singing, "Patience, my children, wait now for spring. Patience, my children, sleep until then." She wagged a finger at our audacity and put our access back in place. And the sun sank below the horizon, red with embarrassment. We quieted down and looked to solstice for what it is, not what we wish it to be, asking ourselves, what can we learn from winter's longest night?
The sun is itself a flaming chalice, celestial cup of light and warmth. Today it seems so far faded and subdued.
We
Kindle this flame to remind us that no matter where we may be, in our feelings, in our lives, in the cycle of the year, the light and warmth of the world's chalice star will return.
There's a song that I love doing for solstice called Be Still and Know. It's a pretty straightforward song. It has one line that repeats and it can go in a round, so there can be parts. But I'm going to teach it to you first. It goes, be still and know that day and night. Be still and know that dark and light are one holy circle. So now I'll do a line and I'll leave a space for you to sing it back, and just through those three lines. Be still and know that day and night. Be still and know that day and night. Be still and know that dark and light. Be still and know that dark and light are one holy circle. Are one holy circle. So I'm going to sing it through several times, and you can sing with me, you can make up harmonies, you can come in as a round. Like I said, it just goes, be still and know that dark day and night. Be still and know that day and night. Comes in like that. So let's give it a try. Be still and know that day and night. Be still and know that dark and light are one holy circle. Be still and know that day and night. Be still and know that dark and light are one holy circle. Be still and know that day and night. Be still and know that dark and light are one holy circle. Be still and know that day and night. Be still and know that dark and light are one holy circle. Be still and know that day and night. Be still and know that dark and light are one holy circle. Be still still and know that day and night. Be still and know that dark and light are one holy circle.
There once was a spider who wandered through time. Season after season, the spider made webs and fed from those webs, and then watched sadly as they fell apart in the wind, the rain, and the snow. This spider wasn't like other spiders. It lived for years, watching others come and go, watching time circle around, watching the world change and yet stay the same. Each year that she made a web, she'd start in the hub of interconnected straight threads she'd lay out and then move around and around, mirroring the movements of waves against shore, fern leaves unfurling at dawn, planets around suns and solar systems within galaxies. Because of her hunger and longing, she'd move quickly, and the spiral that she'd create would turn out imperfect. Some passes were too close together. Some were broken, and others were too far apart. Her web provided all she needed to survive, but to her eye, it was ugly, rough, and it bothered her immensely. So the time came when the spider decided that she was going to make the perfect web. She laid out the interconnected strands, moved to the middle, and began to spiral outward. She moved so slowly and carefully that a whole year passed while she was on her first trip around the center. And a second year passed while she moved around again. At the end of the third year, her web was perfect, stunningly beautiful and symmetrical. But the spider was hungry and weak. She had spent so much time creating this perfection that she had forgotten to live, to eat, to sing, to have fun. She realized that she needed to make a choice quickly. Either I live in an imperfect spiral or waste away seeking perfection. She spiraled around several more times, creating a web that was still beautiful, but was full of blemishes and holes that life tends to throw our way. She finished the web on the evening of the solstice and managed to catch a meal, the last of the season. It was thus that she barely managed to make it through winter and lived to see her way into another less than perfect but still vibrant year.
I'm Linda Pollack, a member of the Pastoral Care Team. With colder weather on its way, we're going to have fewer opportunities for safe outdoor gatherings and more chances to feel isolated. That's why Reverend Linda Susan and the Pastoral Care Team invite you to take part in a friend in the wintertime. You and the person you're paired with agree to call each other at least twice a month from January through March, the heart of winter, for an informal check-in and chat. The idea is to foster a sense of connection when connection may be hard to find. If you're interested, please email pastoralcare@usnh with your name and preferred phone number. We'll match people up and send out notifications with the goal of everyone starting their calls in early January. In this spiritual community, we remind ourselves each week that joy and woe are woven fine. Some of us bear burdens made lighter as others help us carry it. Some of us hold joys that shine more brightly as others reflect our delight. While we didn't receive particular joys and sorrows to be shared today, let's together take a moment to bear witness to all that the people of this congregation are holding in their hearts. Together, let us give thanks for this community of care.
The words for the spoken meditation today come from Amy Zucker Morgenstern. Blessed is the dark in which our dreams stir and are revealed. Blessed is the dark of earth where seeds come to life. Blessed are the depths of the ocean where no light shimmers, the womb of all earthly life. Blessed is the light into which we awake, the light that sparkles on the waters, that calls the tree forth from the seed, and calls the shadows forth from the tree. Blessed are we as we move through darkness and through light. Let us hold a time of silence to use as is most nourishing to you. Amen, and blessed be.
At this time of year, we are grateful for all the good things we have been given. We appreciate the uplifting energy of community. The spirit of generosity fills us, and we want to give back also. There are so many things we can do together that we can't do alone. You may not be able to contribute in person, but we still need your offering more than ever to support the ministries of this congregation. While you listen to music, you can go to our website, usnh.org, or mail to our address, 700 Hartford Turnpike in Hamden, Connecticut. Be as generous as you are able. Your contributions are gratefully received.
There was once a nautilus who wandered through time in an ocean not too far from where the old spider lived. Season after season, the nautilus grew a hard spiral shell, fed from the rich waters around him, defended himself from predators, and watched sadly as his shell grew scarred, chipped, and damaged. This nautilus wasn't like other sea creatures. He lived for years, watching others come and go, watching time circle around, watching the world change, and yet stay the same. Each year that he grew, he'd root himself in the hub of his own home and feel his body move around and around, mirroring the movements of waves against shore, fern leaves unfurling at dawn, planets around suns, and solar systems around galaxies. Because of his desire for sanctuary and the countless creatures who wanted the nautilus for dinner, he'd grow quickly, letting the spiral shell he'd create take the brunt of each attack. And this led to many imperfections, which bothered the nautilus immensely. There were scars from shark bites, round stains from hungry octopus hugs, and small holes from close calls with triggerfish. The shell provided all he needed to survive, but was ugly, rough, and he was so over it. The time had come, the nautilus decided, for him to abandon the only home he'd known and start anew. He wouldn't stop until he made the perfect shell. He laid out the foundation of aragonite, moved to the middle, and began to spiral outward. He moved so slowly and carefully, caught up in the beauty of his own dance, that he barely noticed the gathering of hungry creatures above him. The new shell he was growing was shiny, perfect, and totally symmetrical, but far too small to hold his vulnerable, soft body. The ravenous visitors moved in for an easy meal. The nautilus noticed just in the nick of time and rushed back to his old, scarred, imperfect, but thick spiral shell. Back in safety, the nautilus released some thoughtful bubbles, sat deep in thought for a while, and decided it was better to live an imperfect life where he got to dance with the ocean currents, eat, sing, and have fun, than to seek perfection and pass quickly into memory. It was thus that he barely managed to make it through a bitter winter and live to see his way into another less than perfect, but still vibrant year.
Part 3. The people who wanted the perfect year. Once there was a people who shared a web of existence with spider and with nautilus, fern and fowl, among so many others along the spiral of space and time. They moved through the years, celebrating joys and mourning sorrows, the way that living things do. They had seen years where there was so much to celebrate, and other years when it seemed like joy was as distant as the stars in the night sky. During one such year, on the shortest day, just before the sun disappeared into the longest night, the people cried out, "Why must life be so hard? It's cold. There's not enough to eat. The roof of our home, which we've worked so hard to build, leaks like a sieve. Not only that, but this year has just been plain awful. So many have been sick, we've been stuck at home, and there's been a lot of fighting amongst ourselves." The list of hardships and sorrows went on and on. The people finally decided that the best thing for them to do would be to collectively erase that year from their memory altogether. Just pretend it never happened. They got to work rewriting their stories, erasing their memory cards, devoting all the remaining days of the year to the art of forgetting. Somehow, they believed that if they all acted like that whole year had never happened, they'd start to believe that it hadn't. And soon enough, it really wouldn't have happened. That was the idea, anyway. Off in a corner, the spider sat in her imperfect web, munching away and just shaking her head. On the other side of the spectacle, the nautilus rose to the ocean's smooth surface and shook his head sadly. When will those people ever learn? It was then that the voice of the universe itself spoke to the people. "Excuse us," it said. "We are the infinite multitude that is the universe, and we are curious about what you are trying to do over there. We have been around for a while, and until now, we thought we had seen it all. From galaxy to galaxy, star to star, planet to planet, the gravity of experience has always bent time and space into countless spirals. And there's a reason for that. We have seen great benefit from curving around to look at the past, even as we stretch towards the future. Each day is a reflection of yesterday. with ripples of newness. And each year is a whisper of the ones that will come after, with waves of change crashing and shaping the shores of collected wisdom. The spider, the nautilus, and all the living beings of Earth and beyond have learned to accept the spiral of time and season as a gift, an opportunity to learn and grow. Why are you so determined to ignore the lessons of the past? What must we do to teach you that the rough spots, the difficult years, are as much a part of life's endless spiral as the smooth times? Your future depends on your understanding of sorrow and stillness as much as your embracing of joyful movement. The people stayed silent, but looked out and around. They noticed for the first time the spider's web. They caught the glint of moonlight reflecting off the nautilus's shell. They saw the fern and the aloe plant. They felt their celestial movement around the sun and realized that this cold, long night was actually a mirror reflecting summer's lingering hot day. Each dance of sun and moonlight was a blessing, each orbit a lesson. So they left their story to unfold as it truly was. They welcomed the joys of the season and gave up trying to convince themselves that sorrow was to be swept away. A stillness overcame them. It was the stillness of deep understanding and acceptance, the kind of wisdom that led them to seek new kinds of change in the world. Real change, meaningful change, change that allows for things to not change as often as they do change. They created a sacred space just beyond their sanctuary, a spiral of pine boughs. And each year, even and especially in the difficult years, they return to walk the spiral. They would trace the path inward and outward, reminding themselves that time and action bring change, but also, like the universe itself, it doesn't hurt to look back, even as we move ahead, accepting wisdom from good and difficult times alike. May it be so. Let's walk the spiral together now, my friends.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Distant stars, hear us calling. Bring us light when nights are long. Winter's here. Let us settle into the warmth of word and song. Setting sun, now we implore you. Return your light to heart and hearth. Imperfect world, hear our promise to love all beings who share the earth. Go in peace. Go in love. Happy solstice, my friends.
Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Sun, sun, here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, I say, it's alright. It's alright.